Just have to make sure that this lav mic is also recording, so that I won't be recording with no point. So hello, this is a podcast episode. It's been a long time since the last time I did a podcast episode, and I thought to give it another try. This time that I'm here on this Greek island, and it's my last afternoon here. It's April 23, and it's the last afternoon that I'm spending here before we leave tomorrow and we go back to the city. And I'm doing this episode because the last time that we were here, last summer, I really regretted not making at least podcast episodes with this nice backdrop. And since I regret that, I thought that at least this time, during these 9 or 10 days that we have spent on the island for this Easter, I should make at least one podcast episode, but I have already filmed a few other videos that will go online on my YouTube channel soonish, I hope, but I have to finish editing them. So what we are going to talk about in this podcast episode, you can just listen to this episode on your favorite podcast platform where you are listening to your podcasts, because this won't have any B-roll shots on top of my A-roll. But if you enjoy the scenery, the Greek island scenery, you can also watch this on YouTube. So I'm checking here the list that I have prepared for what I'm going to talk about in this episode. I'm doing this podcast because I want to bring you up to speed. I want to share up-to-date info, which would take me a lot more time if I wanted to make a fully produced video like I do, like a documentary style video. So this is a lot quicker to make. For the record, this podcast episode is not scripted because the main reason is I want to practice my speaking skills, and the second reason is because I didn't bring my teleprompter with me because we flew here, we took the airplane, and I didn't have a lot of space to fit a lot of things. Otherwise I would have a teleprompter here, but I didn't want to script it out and again write a full script even for a podcast. I wanted to speak off the cuff here. And I have already talked about how I feel about the difference between scripted podcasts and off-the-cuff podcasts. I'll discuss what we did in these 10 days that we are here in Skyros Island. I'll go over about how my health is doing, how I'm keeping track of my weight, how I'm doing in regards to nutrition, to working out, to my daily walks. And then I'll talk about my building wealth anyway, my work, which will come down to my web publishing business, to my YouTube workflow. I want to talk to you about the new, not entirely new, the somewhat new workflow that I have come up, because the more you work on something, the more you improve and come up with new ideas for that, and hopefully improve as well. And my future plans when it comes to building wealth. And finally, anything in regards to my family, our summer plans, when we'll be back here on this island, because it's not set in stone this time like before, like the previous years when I knew that we'd be here in August. This time it will be a bit different this year. And any other long-term life plans that I have, both for work, mostly for work. So all this will be in timestamps in the description, both in YouTube and on the audio-only episode. So what I did 10 days here in Skyros this Easter. So we've come here last Tuesday, today it's a Wednesday, so it's the 8th day that we are here. We flew here and immediately I began filming. I filmed, in fact, the whole trip, and I have already edited the trip. I have filmed the interview, and I have to fit now the interview with the B-roll and tell the whole story anyway. But before that, I have to finish editing all the previous videos that I have filmed back in the city. The days went by pretty calmly. There weren't any surprises, hopefully. There is a new supermarket that opened here. It's about 10 minutes from our house, so that's a nice change, because we've come here without a car. We usually don't come here by car in April, because since we only stay here for just 9 days, I don't see the point of driving for 8 hours to come here and 8 hours to go back to the city. And besides, everything here is pretty close. We can walk up to the village in a matter of 30 minutes. And in fact, we did, and I filmed the walk up there, which will be another episode on my YouTube channel. This supermarket, we began visiting it on the very first day, and I hope that we won't be visiting it that often. And we ended up visiting it almost every day because we need to eat. But on the other hand, I hoped we didn't have to go so often to do groceries. On the other hand, of course, we didn't go to any restaurant for 9 days now, which was a bit of a surprise since we usually go to at least 1 or 2 taverns while we spend time here. Other than that, my daughter is almost always at her cousin's house, like she's right now, because of course she wants to spend time with children, with kids of her age, and not with her parents, who are always telling her what to do or not to do. In regards of taking care of my health while here in Skyros, I didn't go for so many walks as I expected to. There were days that I didn't go for a single walk, which I didn't expect at all. But I was very focused on preparing a lot more YouTube videos, and I didn't really feel the need for going for a walk. So it's for me, it's keeping a balance between health and work. I was more towards health, and now I have shifted my interest more on work, so I had to sacrifice a bit of my health. I didn't go for any long walk around the island as I used to when we were coming here before. I always went for a walk right here at the football field, about 2 minutes from our house. And this helps me when walking around in circles to really focus and go deeper in my thoughts. And this helps me to focus more, because I don't walk for the scenery or to look around or meet other people. The walk just helps me focus more. Only the past few days I went for a walk both in the morning and in the evening. And in the evening we go for a walk with my wife and not alone, which is a bit nice. It's a big difference compared to our life in the city, because in the city we almost never go together for a walk. So it's a nice habit that we have built here in the last week that we are here, and we get to chat together in a more relaxed way since she's not working here and she's a lot more relaxed than back in the city. She also studies French. She has also brought her French homework here since she's studying French literature while she's working at the same time full-time. So she's pretty occupied, and I get to do a bit of more work myself. We also don't have to go to the sea like in the summer, although while it's April and the current temperature here now is about 18 degrees, but it drops down to 15. 18 degrees is the maximum that it gets during the day. Children during the Easter Sunday did actually swim in the sea. And it was fun because at first I saw that they were very cold, but they were brave enough to get into the sea and swim for about half an hour. So that was a big surprise for me. Well, of course, we roasted lamb, the tradition that takes place during Easter in Greece. We were invited to a friend's house, and I also uploaded a reel on my Instagram and on X, I think. Anyway, on Threads, all those social media platforms that I try to keep updated from time to time, so you can check it out yourself. I did try to track down my nutrition, my food, although I didn't bring my small scale that I have in the kitchen. So I had to ballpark the weight of what I ate, but I'm pretty familiar with how much I eat. Because I have weighted my food for now 900 days, and I know roughly about how much I eat in each bite, in my plate, how much food I put in my plate. So I think I have tracked down my calorie intake quite well, and I also track my weight, which is about staying steady at more than 90 kilos, which is not something that I'm proud of, because my weight had dropped a lot below 90 kilos for a long time, but lately I've been eating a lot more, so I have to be more disciplined when it comes to eating now. And finally, when it comes to my work while we are here in Skyros, I did work on the websites, but not so much. I thought I would spend about 2 or 3 hours per day on the websites, but I ended up spending about 6 or 7 hours in total this week on the websites. I don't count, of course, the emailing, because I do respond to all the emails, but I don't consider that work, to tell you the truth. I had hoped that I would write a few articles while we're here, but I focused more on video, so I neglected a lot my websites, which had, of course, a continuous effect on the traffic of my websites, which I'll talk about more later. During these 10 days here in Skyros, I filmed the trip coming here. Then I filmed the first couple of days that we were here. And finally, I filmed the Easter Sunday when we were invited at our friend's house. That was on last Sunday, and now it's 3 days that I haven't filmed anything, no B-roll at all. I just film interviews so that I make the documentary style videos that I like to make. And this is the first time that I'm filming a podcast, as I said. I didn't film any more B-roll, although the weather here is very nice. There is not much wind, which isn't that common here. And the reason is I already have filmed a lot B-roll over the past few years here, so I didn't want to fill up my hard drives with more B-roll, especially since I don't have my big cinema camera with me, and I only have my mirrorless cameras, which of course they are pretty fine in quality. They do get the job done, but the main reason is that I don't need any more B-roll. I first need the story, and based on the story that I want to tell, then I want to film the B-roll for that story, not the other way around, like I used to do when I filmed everything around me, like the grass blowing, like the air blowing over the grass, the leaves on the trees, the house behind me during sunset, during sunrise, and ending up with B-roll that is just sitting in my hard drives, waiting for me to construct some story based on that. But if I only have B-roll, I don't have a story to tell. I just have beautiful scenery to show. And if there is no story for a video, then there's no point in filming any B-roll. So that's pretty much what I will remember from this trip here in Skyros Island this Easter. Of course, for another year, we didn't stay up late to see the fireworks during the night before Easter. I don't remember how it's called in English. And I just heard the fireworks. I have filmed them only once in the last 10 years that I'm here. And I really have to make a plan the next time to stay awake and film those again with the skills that I have now acquired after making films all this time. Now, about my health, let's bring you up to speed. This life update about my health. Feeling pretty well. Yesterday morning I had something that I forgot to mention. What happened in these 10 days here in the Greek island is that just yesterday when I woke up, I felt quite dizzy for the first time. I never felt that kind of dizziness ever in my life. I couldn't walk. I was stepping right or left. I was feeling like I was in a boat. And then my daughter hugged me. I had to lower my head quite low. And then when I got back in the chair, everything was spinning around. I thought it was because I had groomed I think is the word, the verb. I petted a dog here, my brother-in-law's dog, and they had sprayed it with a drug for fleas, I think they are called. And I thought that because I didn't wash my hands afterwards and went to sleep at night, then that had an effect on my nervous system. But then my brother-in-law informed that it has been 3 days since they had sprayed the dog, so that wouldn't have been the cause of my dizziness. They thought it was because I was getting sick, something. I did lie down and I did sleep in the middle of the day. I felt very cold for a couple of hours, but after about 4 or 5 hours I woke up and I felt like brand new. I didn't feel anything, so I don't really know what went wrong there. Hopefully it won't come back and it isn't something serious. I was afraid that it might have something to do with my gut, with my stomach, because 2 years ago when I had my stomach issue, I don't remember how it's called, it's when the stomach stuff goes up into your throat, and that had caused inflammation, I think it's called, in the stomach, and I had to get to the doctor and do a gastroscopy. Yes, I think it's called gastroscopy. And I had to take some pills, and that's how I started tracking my nutrition and going for a long walk every day, and I lost 25 kilos. But this time it didn't feel like that. So anyway, that's history now. So my weight is now about 93 kilos. It used to be up to 110. Then it dropped down to 85 kilos last spring. And in the last few months, I began eating a lot more and quit going for a second long walk during the day. That of course meant that my calorie intake remained the same, but my calorie consumption, the calorie burning rate dropped, so I began gaining weight. I reached about 95 kilos, where I said, okay, that was enough, and began going for 2 long walks per day again, and I'm trying to keep my calorie intake up to 2,500 calories per day. I usually aim for 2,000 calories, but I know I don't often hit that mark. I usually exceed that, but I try not to go over 2,500 calories. 2 years ago, when I lost 20 kilos in about 6 months, I was eating about 1,500 to 1,800 calories per day. I was feeling hungry all the time. Maybe I'll try it again this time, but I'm not in a hurry of losing weight, so I might not be so strict to myself and eat a bit more. But I do want to lose weight and go back to 85 and hopefully to 82, which is the weight that, according to BMI, will rank me as normal and not an overweight guy. Because I have read that the more time you spend as overweight, the less years you are going to live. I think that overweight people live about 2 to 3 years less than normal people, and I would like to live those 2 years. The light is dying a bit now. I might have to unscrew the ND filter that I have on the lens. So now about building my wealth. I have quit working on the old website for about 3 or 4 months now. The website that have been hit by Google, and I have documented this on my YouTube channel, which has been the main source of income for me and for sustaining my family's way of living. And I read that whatever you try, it's futile. There's no point on working on a website that has been hit by a Google update. I have spent months working on that website, and I actually haven't seen a difference on the website. That's why I quit working on the website for 4 months now, just posting a few random articles here and there, and just to keep it updated a bit. But I no longer work that much on that website. It's dying slowly, unfortunately. It's pretty hopeless, I think, to work on it, although I want to give it a last try so that I don't regret in the future and saying that at least I tried and I didn't neglect it entirely. I want to give it another shot. I want to post at least 5 articles per week in the next 2 or 3 months, so that I can confirm that there is no point on working on it at all. Because that's the only thing that is left to do on the website, to keep it updated a lot more and a lot more often. Another solution could be to build a YouTube channel on that website, based on that website, with relevant content, and work on the other social media platforms, but that is not in my plans. The YouTube channel would be the only one that I was seeing a point to work on, but working on another YouTube channel at the same time that I'm working on my YouTube channel is a lot time consuming, and I think it wouldn't lead to any good result, both for that channel and for mine, other than the fact that I'm not that familiar with the niche that website is about, and I'm not that kind of an expert in that niche. If I had to go on camera talking about that website, I don't consider myself the best host for that kind of content, because I'm not fluent in English, mostly because I'm not fluent in English, in fact. So my main focus now is my YouTube channel, building my personal brand. I want to build this YouTube channel to possibly replace my source of income of the other website, and at the same time have the added effect of driving traffic to my own personal website, which will also bring some revenue as well. On one hand, I have an old website that brought my main revenue for my business, and then this is my personal blog that's not making any money. So as this is dropping now, my old website is dropping in revenue, I want to bring my personal website up in revenue along with the adjacent YouTube channel. And my website with the YouTube channel hopefully will make up all the revenue that I'm losing on the established website because of the Google update. My goal for my YouTube channel is something measurable, something that I have control of, and this is the number of videos that I can produce, I can make. So that is what I'm tracking, that's my goal, and my goal is to make as many videos as I can. Now, as long as I hit that goal, I hope I can attract the audience, I can bring enough traffic to the YouTube channel so that it gets monetized, and I can bring at least the base salary here in Greece, which is about 800 to 900 euros per month, so that I have at least a sustainable business on YouTube. And from that point on, once it gets monetized, and as long as I work on that, I don't see a reason for the channel not to improve and not to grow and not to bring even more revenue. In terms of numbers, I don't have a specific, it's not a goal, a specific number, because I can't control the number of views or the number of subscribers the channel will get. What I can control is the number of videos I can produce. But in terms of number of views, because I know a lot of people are interested in those, and views correspond to the revenue sooner or later, I hope that I can make at least 8 videos per month, so I can produce 2 videos per week. And if those videos can bring 10,000 views each, then it's about 80 to 100,000 views per month. And I have noticed from other YouTube creators that usually the whole channel, the number of views that the whole channel gets is about double of that number, because the new audience will also watch the older videos. So if every month I can produce 8 videos that bring 100,000 new views, then the whole channel will be shown, will get about 200,000 views. And at about $5 RPM, this will lead to $1,000 as revenue, which will make me a lot more relaxed and in fact will make me more motivated to continue working on the channel, because at this time I'm in the algorithm prison, as they say, which means that you keep working on something just for the love of it, because you really enjoy doing it without any reward. I'm at this point and I just have to push, because I have what they say, and I have also seen it myself, that in order to succeed, the only thing that you have to keep doing is just trying, because most people quit. So just by trying, you are already ahead. Of course, I hope I don't eventually quit if I don't see any feedback, any results, but I do have enough runway, at least for a year or 2 years, if not more, to keep trying on this YouTube thing. And that's my future plan when it comes to building my wealth and keep the money flowing. Of course, the dream is to have videos that constantly hit 100,000 views, which would mean that 4 videos per month will get 400,000 to 500,000 views, and then the whole channel will get 1 million views every month, which could be a nice income, as long as I can hit it. But I don't want to dream that big. Of course, I want to dream that big. No, I take it back, because they say if you aim for the stars, you'll reach the top of the trees. This big dream is, I believe it's achievable. I may be very optimistic in there. I generally am not. I usually am very dark. I'm very dark inside. I'm very black. I see everything negative. But when it comes to YouTube, I'm very, very optimistic. And hopefully my optimism will pay off. Now, finally, family matters. What is going on with my family? My daughter is growing up. She's at a point now that is quite independent. She's going left and right without us going with her. It's a very nice feeling of seeing a kid becoming more independent, standing on her feet. And that brings me a lot more joy. I see a human growing up, and all these 10 years that I've spent, me and my wife, raising her, to see all that result, the fruits of our labor, let's say labor, because I do have spent a lot of time with her. I have sacrificed a lot of time of my work and of my interest and of my hobbies to be present with my daughter. Of course, working from home has this benefit, but I chose all these years to not close my door and be constrained in my room, in my office. I opted to be there, to be present with my daughter, and looking at her growing up and becoming a big girl now, it makes me very proud. Now, about the summer, I usually planned to come here in August, every August. Now this summer, because I really enjoy being here, and I don't really like being in the city, because you can see it in my videos that I'm really struggling to come up with beautiful images while being in the city, and I enjoy being in the nature a lot more. We will try to come here in June, and there's a plan for me to even come here alone in July and then bring the family in August. So the best plan, I think, would be for me to come here with my daughter, just the two of us, in June, and then I'll come here in July, in mid-July, just by myself, and then I'll spend the whole August with the family here and probably stay for about a week in September. So that would make me stay here for more than 2 months on the Greek island, which would be a dream come true for me. I have stayed here on the island alone with my daughter for 50 days 2 years ago. I meant to make a video of that experience. I had found the title of 50 Days of Summer. for that video, but I never filmed the interview. I have filmed a lot of scenes, a lot of stories during that time, but I haven't come up with the script, the story. And this is a work in progress. There are a lot of videos that I want to make in the future. Once my channel gets monetized and I don't feel this pressure of trying to make many videos just to get monetized and just to begin making some money out of this thing. Now, the more long-term life goals for the family and for me and the whole thing is, of course, linked to my business, to my work. I do have some cash runaway as long as the web business is gradually dying, and I hope it doesn't break below a threshold that can sustain our way of living for some time. But in the case that everything turns to hell and I have zero income and I'm unemployed, then I'll have about 2 to 3 years to come up with something to do before I really have to go looking out for a job, which is something that I have never really done in my life, and this is my biggest fear. But the comments in my YouTube channel have said, and my friends have told me that they really believe in me. They are sure that I'll find my way out of this mess. I didn't really believe it myself. I always plan for the worst case scenario. I always see all the scenarios that can play out, all the tree diagram, but I almost always focus on the negative side and almost never on the positive. And I always plan for the worst case scenario, never for the best case scenario, because in the best case scenario, of course, it will be very easy to adapt to that scenario. So now for the future podcast episodes, this is a very nice backdrop. I'm out in the fresh air. I can express myself. I have all the space for me. I have no second thoughts about someone overhearing me. It's very nice here to record these podcast episodes, and as I said, this is something I regretted the last time I was here. At least this time I won't regret, because I will have this podcast episode as long as the microphone that I'm wearing under my shirt is actually recording all this time. If you are listening to it, then everything is going according to the plan. If we are going to spend more days here, I would probably make another episode here. Now that we are going back to the city, I'll have to come up with a plan to go someplace else outside of our house to film this episode, because I don't really enjoy filming the podcast episode in the house. I'm expecting the feedback of this episode to see if how you liked this episode, if what you didn't like, and if you have any suggestions, any ideas. If you want me to talk about something particular, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you up in the next episode. Gya hara from Greece.